There's something going on in Korea that is of great interest to people who play games. It was 20 years ago, 1997, that IBM's Deep Blue beat the champion of the world at chess, Garry Kasparov. And we went through a very, I say the chess community, went through a very depressing couple of years, because if a computer, if a machine can beat the best player in the world at a game, well, is it worth playing the game? We've survived, but now the Go community's turn is here. Go is an even more challenging game. It took 20 more years to make a computer that could win at Go. I think we have one joining us right now from the American Go Association, Andy Okun. He's in Seoul right now. Are you a little depressed, Andy?
I'm both sad and excited at the same time.
Yeah. So Lee Sedol, who is a 9-dan Go player, 18-time world champion. I mean, this isn't a question of a weaker player getting beaten. This is a good player.
This is a good player.
#1.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
A legend. He's playing a 5-game match against AlphaGo, which is a computer program created by a company called DeepMind. Google bought them a while ago, so it's a Google company. DeepMind, AlphaGo, 5-game match, has won the first 3 games. Now, I play Go, but I'm not a Go. I don't understand Go like you do, Andy. Did DeepMind play well?
Yes. It outplayed Lee Sedol. You can talk a little bit about the psychological stress of it, and that we don't have a lot of game records of AlphaGo to study from, but no, it outplayed. A lot of pros and a lot of strong players and a lot of analysts were looking at these games. There you see Michael Redmond, who is was an American born in the States, but became a 9-dan pro in Japan, and he's a very experienced commentator and analyst.
I watched this commentary on these games, and by the way, it's on YouTube. They've been streaming it live, and it was fascinating, but particularly fascinating to watch as AlphaGo started to move ahead.
Yes. And actually, the point that was in the picture there was where he started, the computer started to move ahead in game 3. And that was a depressing moment because at some level we were all, I think, rooting for Lee Sedol. Let me give you a sense. We don't know how strong AlphaGo is from the 3 games we've seen so far, except that it seems to be stronger than Lee Sedol has played this week. In Go, you're attempting to surround territory on the board and get the advantage over the opponent that way. And at the end, if nobody resigns, you count up the places on the board that you've surrounded, and if you have a slight margin over your opponent, you win the game. But in the middle of the game, you might be far ahead in estimated territory count. And most human players, use how far ahead you are as a proxy for the likelihood you're going to win the game. If I'm 50 points ahead, the other person should resign. If I'm 20 points ahead, I'm probably going to win. If I'm 2 points ahead, I need to be very careful. If I'm 20 points behind, I need to take risks. AlphaGo seems to directly calculate, it does, directly calculate from a board position the chances that it's going to win. It doesn't care how far ahead it is. So if it's 20 points ahead, but can slightly increase its probability of winning by giving you back 18 of those points, it will.
Wow.
And Michael Redmond has started over the course of these games to figure out that Lee Sedol is behind because AlphaGo plays what appear to us to be slow, slack, not that great moves.
Early in the first game, it played a move that commentators widely thought, this is a bad move.
Yeah.
Turned out not to be.
Yeah. Essentially, yes. And I know at the start of the first game, there were 3 moves in a row, or 3 moves out of 4, that I know my teacher would, smack me for making.
Right.
Just, push from behind on the 5th line, you're going to lose immediately doing that. And AlphaGo did and won the game.
Amazing.
So, Andy, since you are obviously an experienced Go player, how do you think Lee feels at this moment, right now, with the world watching, that he is literally
He's representing humankind.
He's representing
and he
you,
lost.
Andy. He is representing not me, not Leo, but
All
you.
of us. No, everybody.
How do you think he feels knowing that he's lost to AI right now?
He actually said in the press conference after the game yesterday that he has been feeling the stress.
Yeah.
I don't know what it must feel like. At this point, I think I hope it's clear to him that this isn't just, him. That there may not be anyone else out there. There is a player in China who's been talking about wanting to play AlphaGo because he actually has, over the last year or two, a very good record against Lee Sedol. And so certainly that match is one we'll look to. But it's not so great a margin that we know, that it's a huge difference.
Oh, wow.
Do you think it'd be possible to recalibrate your strategy as a human player in the light of what we've seen AlphaGo do and play better?
I think so, but that's also something we don't know yet.
Right.
I'm sure it is. There's a certain amount of sadness because we liked the idea that we had this game that supercomputers were not good at playing.
Right.
A few months, I took up the game at the age of 40 in 2002, and that's old to start in some senses, but not too old. And within a few months, I could beat the best computers that were out there. They were not impressive. And obviously something new needed to be invented to do it. And they invented new things, and it got stronger so fast that to me it was clear this was going to happen in the next year or two, no matter what.
Oh, wow.
We thought in chess that, it was very demoralizing when Kasparov got beaten by Deep Blue, but we've come to accept our new overlords. And most serious chess players now work with computers in both training and study. It's almost a symbiotic partnership. And it didn't end the game, the fact that the game was solvable, that in fact, there was a proper, correct move at all times. Go has always seemed to be a little more intuitive and ethereal and a lot less calculated, Although, I guess you throw enough horsepower at any problem like this, it's ultimately deterministic. If you could calculate all the moves, you could figure out what the moves were.
Yeah.
Neither chess nor Go is, I think, truly solvable in this universe because they're
so many odd possibilities. Yeah.
But after Sadness, the first reaction of certainly all of the pros I've spoken to and a lot of the other players is get me a copy.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to play this. Yeah.
And they want to know because the depressing thought, aside from sadness that we've lost the mystique and that Lee Sedol is getting hammered this week, the sadness is we have 2,500 years of knowledge and game records and proverbs and ideas and heuristics. And somebody said in the middle of the second game, Lee Sedol was playing very well and it looked like he had chances. Somebody said he's ahead. Or if he's not ahead, then what do we know about this game?
Yeah, it's a mystery.
So the pros want a copy of this software or some version of it.
Well, good news, they probably will get one, I'm sure. I mean, Fritz and other chess-playing games based on Deep Blue have been widely available, very inexpensive. They can whip the pants off of pretty much anybody. I imagine AlphaGo will make the same transition to a consumer product.
So, a lot of people are thinking this is kind of exciting because there are going to be new things we've never thought of before.
Yeah.
And we like patterns and shapes and strategies and all the rest of it. They give us pleasure to see and apply. And there have been some moves that AlphaGo has made that have, really impressed people. Those moves may not be why AlphaGo won, in a sense, because in all three games there was this sensation anyway, as you were watching, that gradually the human player was falling behind, was just not getting any traction at all with what he was trying to do, and that the computer's moves were quite efficient, sometimes gentle, but very efficient.
Where do you see this going, Leo? I mean, we've got 2011 Watson out here beating people
There'll
at
never be
at
a
Jeopardy.
computer that can
We've
win
got
at
Go.
baseball, I'm sure. No,
The only,
probably there will be, right?
You think so?
These may
Where
be
do you
dubbed-
see it going, Andy?
20
We've
years
got
from
him-
now, the robot
yeah.
baseball team that beats the San Francisco Giants.
I don't know about that. I think the DeepMind team, I think they'll keep working on this, but they're going to turn. They've said they're going to turn to other things,
Yeah.
and I would love them to focus on medicine, which is one of the things
Absolutely.
they've said they're going to do,
Yeah.
because this kind of pattern detection software being used on diagnosis would be amazing and
Would be.
save lives and
Yeah.
make our lives better.
We should point out,
As
that's
far
the
as
reason
games are
you...
concerned, I think in 20 years, the only games we'll be able to beat computers at are Calvin Ball and Morning Crescent.
I think you're right.
know those references, but
this was
you need to be something where the computer can't know the rules.
Or no computer scientist cares to try to solve it. I mean,
There's that, yes.
Yeah, one of the reasons that Go was chosen and why they work so hard on it is because of the value that you gain out of doing this kind of software and the things that you learn. Hey, it's really great to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Andy Okun is the president of the American Go Association. The good news is I think this will spur an interest in Go in the United States, which is long
Absolutely.
overdue.
Definitely.
Absolutely. There's a lot of other exciting things going on in Go. And in fact, just a few years ago, we started to, because we had so many strong young players from years of boosting youth Go, we started picking our own professionals. And some of them are beating professionals in Asia in tournaments now. And
Wow.
we have a lot of exciting stuff going on.
Yeah.
A lot of people love to play. We have amateur tournaments all over the place. So I think it is an exciting time in Go. Here, Europe, Asia, everywhere.
It's a beautiful game, really, really wonderful game. And Andy, I'm glad you could share it with us. And sometime you and I will play some Calvin Ball together. I have some rules I'd like to make up myself. And
Okay.
he's talking about Calvin and Hobbes. Hey, it's great to talk to you, Andy. Thanks for joining us.
Very good.
Take
Thanks.
Andy Okun of the American Go Association.